Good afternoon, Antambulu. How
Hello, hello, hello. How are you?
I am very well. Oh my goodness.
I am very well as well. This is good. This is good. So, thank you for agreeing to meet me here, Gregory, and be this space with me. I'm so excited about it. We've been sharing a little bit of messages back and forth, and that has been lovely. So, we'll bring in all that we feel connected to bring in for everyone. I did write something right before I hit the button to come in here. Can I read it really fast and then it'll be here at the beginning? So,
Let's
okay.
do it. Let's
You
do it.
wrote something too.
Oh
I love
God,
it. I love it.
I mean,
I love it. All right. So here we go. So we're going to talk about the divine masculine and the divine feminine and the divine union. That's going to be really important for us to bring into this space, the divine union. What is that, right? What are we talking about? That's what we're going to bring into this call. We're going to talk about the shifts of energy that are going on right now in the collective of humanity and in all consciousness. And we're going to allow and bring forth the higher vibrational spaces of the divine feminine and the divine masculine that are now available for the human collective and beyond. So Gregory and I have together we've done many ceremonies in beautiful energetic spaces of sacred alignment on the planet Earth. And we've assisted with this as many other beautiful human beings have assisted as well. And then we've also chosen, Gregory and I and many others on the planet, you watching this right here, many of us have chosen to actually be the implementation points in our everyday lives of these spaces of the divine feminine, spaces of the divine masculine, and anchoring of the divine union. So we're going to talk about this and we're going to allow this space and we're going to allow the expansiveness that's flowing within the words, within the pauses, within the breaths, within the presence as we be this space with you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming in here. And thank you for listening with your hearts as we allow this space to unfold. So, beautiful divine Gregory, thank you, thank you, thank you.
well, there's a lot to talk about, and you just summed up so much. Let's just talk about the divine masculine and feminine, and we are all just as I believe, a spark of creation, a spark of you know I like to think of it. I'm a big Jesuit fan, a big Jesuit Ben Joseph and Christ consciousness, and we are all a spawn of the Father and a
And the
woman
mother.
mother. And when you realize that, and when you take that into every interaction that you're doing, wow, does it make a change in your life? And that's what I personally have been going through the last 6 months. I'll tell you, after LA, it really hit me about where we are in moving forward. And there's a lot of openness out there, and to embrace that and to nurture that, I think is very important. And it's not embarrassing anymore for a guy to, you know, the masculine doesn't understand the feminine as like I didn't as much as what. Whew, how do I say this properly? But to embrace the feminine as a guy in this now, and I know I've been the feminine in the past, and once you realize and nurture that thought and that beingness of we have been everything, we have been both genders, aside from insects and whatever else that we choose to experience in this earth plane. it just humbles you to when you know when you get to come back or take it back. And I don't know, I've been doing a lot of feminine research. The goddess, your goddess book is very like I put it down after the first like couple chapters because I wasn't ready for it yet. But then I pick it up now and it's on my table. It's here. And wow, it's just when I talk to other guys and women, and I'm trying to find a balance, but I know what that balance is. I'm learning that the more I keep quiet, the more I process in my quiet time what actually is happening and how these emotions, and it's a lot of emotions and feelings that
Mhm.
I think the feminine brings in besides just plain old beauty, creativity, the nurturing, like everything that the feminine um, represents
Mhm.
is just put aside right now with a lot of the masculine in our time. But I think that there's a lot more going on than what we know.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had the pleasure of going to see Creed last night, and I took my brother-in-law and his boyfriend, and that was very interesting for me. And it was a new space for me, and it's acceptance, and it's a learning and teaching experience at the same time. And I nurtured that, and boy, like the build up from it, and from first following you from 4 years, no, 3 years ago. And then I really started getting into you with understanding the difference of a masculine and feminine state of mind. And wow, once you understand both of them and you see where they're coming from, in terms of your actions or what comes naturally. And that's what I don't think it can be taught too
Mhm.
much. Like we all have it. We all are born with it. And but we choose that distortion. I like you've been using the word distortion lately, but I've also just think of balance and
Yeah.
trying to think of balance all the time. And when I
Mhm.
look into another soul's eyes, everybody's a reflection of us. It's the masculine, it's the feminine. And I'm not looking at what's right or wrong. When Acasma, we come in up here, we
Mhm.
always come here and seeing the good in everybody. And
Mhm.
that's where, I try not to push on to anyone my beliefs or what I think is right, but just to be a more better, I like to say, a funner observer. Fuck it. Just sitting back and enjoy the ride, really,
Yeah.
and watch
Allow.
it unfold. And if you have something to say, somebody will come to you. Or
Yeah.
they'll say, what are you thinking about that? And I'm like, I'm just observing you. Like, why are you acting like that? That really blows me away. Cause I'm like, really? You're gonna talk to that woman like that, or you're gonna treat that guy like that? Um, I don't know. And we're all programmed. We're a little programmed, and
Yeah.
I've been working on my programming, and that's one thing I have written here. Talk about affirmations later. I don't know if they're good or bad, but I don't know. Work out and
Well, we're always affirming something. We're
all
always
that are
affirming
perfect stuff.
something. So
So,
affirmations are aligning us all the time. And sometimes we're affirming things we may not be wanting to align, but we don't realize it. We don't pay attention. We're not aware. We're not observing enough. So they are really important, but they're happening no matter what. I love that you brought in the understanding of the origin essence of all, and that we're all coming from that essence point. It's within the eyes of each one of us as we look upon one another and the reflection of the self within the other. And then I feel like you were taking us very nicely into a space that I don't hear people talk about very much, but again, it may be the spaces I listen to, right? Um, So I'm not saying it doesn't exist out there, but I think we're ready to talk about this more. And that is the embodiment as a woman and the embodiment as a man. Because I think we've kind of been in a lot of different spaces as humans where we kind of been, it's so interesting to me. We've done both. We've negated identification, like
Ooh.
tried to go into the spaces of we're all one, we're all God, we're all source, right? And then at the same exact time, we've put in a zillion labels that say I identify as this and I identify as that and I like this and I like that. And it's so fascinating to me because in essence, we've been sending ourselves this incredible, vast message of we are all of that exactly. And then at the same time, right now, we're being asked, those of us who are in human forms right now, on earth right now, because there's a lot of other consciousness out there going on, okay? But those of us who are in human bodies right now, we're being asked to implement these higher levels of consciousness as a woman, as a man. And then the man and the woman being able to then interact in human implementation spaces of experience, registering one another, communicating with one another, connecting with one another in ways that are at a higher dimensional space of connection. Because we've done the lower levels of understandings, we've done the abusiveness, and it's gone both ways. So this isn't on the man and this isn't on the woman. This is everybody. Everybody's been coming to the party with the same crap, okay? In different ways. And so we're leaving that. Like that's not even a timeline I identify with or function on in any way and haven't for a very long time now. I've witnessed this in my husband. I've been married for 30 some years to the same guy I love. Met him when I was 16. You met him. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
watched
and you don't want to
him.
wear his clothes though. You sometimes you do, but sometimes you know that there's balance. Yeah, but that's. I'm sorry to interject that,
No,
but
no, no, no. That's the thing is we're bringing the balance in by how we implement it in our daily lives. Like when you were saying something about watching more and not, jumping in as much to add your 2 cents, but to watch and observe. And then maybe if the opportunity arises and you're asked like blah, 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 then maybe you interject, but you're very mindful of
I'll give
what you
my
do
10
with
cents.
your energy because the minute you're thinking and observing you're automatically running a vibration before you even open your mouth. But to allow yourself to observe and to refrain from interjecting right away because that's really what we tend to do, it's more reactive than responsive. That alone is running a flow state of more balance.
Yes.
And so then immediately balance is available, even if the other person or other people are not in a balanced state. And maybe they're all over the place. Maybe it's chaotic. Maybe it's traumatic. Maybe it's whatever. But if you're in balance, then that's bringing the opportunity of balance. Okay. And so then if you do even go to speak because somebody asks you, well, what do you think about this? You're just quiet over there. What do you think about this? And then you allow yourself to come from your higher mind and higher heart. So you speak with that alignment of truth that is innate in all that you just said as well is within every one of us. And the space of them that is hearing you will pick up on it, even if the mind of their being can't get it right away. Their consciousness is registering that availability. And then it may be days, it may be weeks, it may be years, but they will begin to sense and pick up on peace and balance that you brought in. It's not your obligation, it's not my obligation. It's just the fact that this is what happens when you shift your own understanding of yourself and the world around you. It is inevitable that that new flow is then what you are producing. Everybody's producing an energetic flow. Everybody is contributing to all of this energy that's everywhere around us. And so, yes, as we expand into our remembrance of who we really are, that starts to come into and through our flow. And mine comes in because I'm in a female body. Yes. So mine's going to come in the divine feminine. Yes. Yours is going to come in the divine masculine. And we can do a whole nother video on all the other identification points that humanity has been entertaining for the last several decades. But at the core of human basis is the feminine and the masculine. That's the core. That, and then all these other spaces come off of those. Does this make sense?
Oh God, yes.
Okay. Yes. So it's very important because if you're going to do anything for the movement of consciousness in a specific space of a collective, you must come from it at its origin, that collective's origin. Does that make sense?
I don't think you can make a rational decision on masculine and feminine if you don't understand its origins. Like you just said, if if you don't get the basis of oneness and your wholeness, then you got some more work to do.
Yes.
Then once you get there, wow, to me to me it's not work. It
No,
really
it's not.
isn't. It's actually easy. But
Yeah.
I'm learning it the
Ways.
more I and we're throwing our Acasma teachings, and that's a whole nother video in and of itself. But when you're allowing that, and I've seen that in my wife and daughter, and then I got two girls, and all the dogs and animals are here are mostly female, but I relate with them. And when you or when I know from my core where I came from, and I know my divinity, my wholeness, it makes it easier for me to represent the masculine in a positive way. I'll never teach any feminine anything. I'll just shut up and just sit back and observe then. But it's fun to watch because there's so much going on right now in terms of energy and movements and what we're just doing in our normal day to day. And if you don't have these foundations, wait, like I'm not going to plug your book, but I'm going to plug your book. AQE Foundations teaches you this, and it shows that masculine, feminine, and the balance that needs to be. It
Mhm.
doesn't need to be. You can live
Well,
there if
it's the
you want,
it's the
but
origin. So it's like the core origin essence that we're returning into,
choice. It's a
which is
choice.
bringing us into that balance. Yeah, yeah. And it's in our water. I love that you brought in the AQE foundations because a big part of the teachings talks about and works with the activation energetically. Just like you turn on a light when you walk in a room, if you want the light on, the water, you can actually turn on divine union in the body through the water because it's holding the program of your essence before all the other programs were put in. Because the programs are in the water, they're in the DNA, they're in the cell structures, and they could be the programs of divisiveness, of hate, of shame, of guilt, of pain, of suffering, of sorrow, of fear, much lower flow states of energy. And then a lot of humans, they get stuck in cycled patterns in their lives. They see the same type of relationships, they see the same type of lack, they see the same type of health issues or whatever, generation upon generation. They go, oh, my family must have this thing they deal with genetically, or some people say my family's cursed, or whatever the wording is. But it is an energetic cycle and loop that's in the waters of the body that is not an organic energetic alignment. It's not innate. It's not the essence. It's a distortion, bring the word back again. And we're learning, and many others on the planet as well with other types of teachings are learning that we can activate or reactivate our divine flow, our essence, our I am in our waters, in our bodies, and then implement as whatever specific life we're in right now. And you're going to implement different than me because you're a man. I'm going to implement different than you because I'm a woman. But that alone will bring more balance to the collective because the way I process with the way I think and the way I feel and the way I register, even at an enlightened state of understanding, is going to be different than you because I'm a woman. And it should
I
be
know, I'm a
different than
little
you.
jealous of that. Like, I wish they would give us a little leeway of here's a little bit of some from the feminine, here's a little bit of some from the masculine for me. But we do get that in our dreams. I really believe that.
And yes, because of what you said in the beginning, it's our origin as one. Okay. But then you're playing out in a biological, cellular, hormonal, very important, not trying to pick on anybody and say, oh, you're hormonal. Hormones play a role. Women have different hormone levels than men. And it's just what it is. It's science, it's genetics, it's biology. And so when a woman processes something, she runs it through chemistry that's different than how a man does. But that's important and valuable because I do not want my man to process the way I process because then I'm out of balance.
Especially hot flashes. No way. Done. Done. I think I'm picking up on my wife's. I'm done with that.
Now,
Like
okay,
after
so
six.
that's another video. We can talk about supplements and all these wonderful things to take care of the body because it is important. Women's health, men's health, a lot of spaces have been overlooked. And there is so much that we can do naturally to assist the body to process correctly. But that's why we are different. And it's okay to be different. Like for so long, there's been this judgment, like we're equal, we're equality, equal across the board. I don't want to be equal to you, Gregory. I want you to be a man. I want when I'm doing ceremony with you and I say, put my hands into the dirt and press them like we did in Destin, I want to see your hands on top of mine, pressing them down and knowing in my head, this man has my back. And the protector in you is there. I feel it. The guardianship in you is there. I feel it. I can thrive in my feminine because the divine masculine is right there supporting. And we're designed for this. Like this is natural as it gets. This doesn't negate any other spaces of any other identifications. This is just understanding these spaces for what they are from point one, from the very beginning. And they will always be these. This is what, and this is even in its most enlightened state. This is a healthy understanding for all of us to embrace as humans, that we are designed specifically, beautifully, masterfully to be man, to be woman. And the other variation points, those are additional spaces that are evolving into other alignments of realities and connection points for humanity, but they aren't exactly this space. And that's okay. There's no judgment. This is not putting anybody in a box or saying anybody else isn't the same or good enough. This is just allowing the understanding of the essence of the origin of the man and the woman, and to return them to the sacredness of that which they were designed to be. And this is very important. It's very important. Yes. So thank you, Gregory, for all the spaces you've been with me already. And I never gave you a heads up, did I? I never sent you a memo and said, here, you're going to come to this event and we're going to do this work and I'm going to ask you to do this and you're going to do that and blah, blah, blah. You just come and you just trust and you just show up and you're there. And then we allow and we trust spirit and we trust ourselves, and incredible, beautiful things unfold. So thank you for your trust level and your availability.
That's like
Let's
at every destination event, you just got to go right up to you every morning when you're there and just give you a hug and say good morning. I love it because it just balances my day. And you're like, Greg, what are you doing? And I'm like, I just want to say good morning. I just want to give you a hug and
That's
thank
so
you.
good though, because it's like you're checking in to say, I'm here, I'm present, I'm
Yeah.
present, I'm available. Okay, let's talk about a couple of things we've done because I think it would be a blessing. And I'll put some um, photos if I can and videos in here if I have them. But some highlights for me, and then please share your highlights as well. Big highlight for me was your Sedona trip that you did with us. That was, I think, your first destination event with me. And it was big. That was big energy. You were anchoring the landing of the divine masculine's return, really. I feel like that's what you were doing. You were anchoring the landing of the return of the divine masculine, the origin of the man, if you will, yes, in its most divine form. Yes. And so there was a point we were on Bear Mountain We had hiked Bear Mountain, and we could do a whole nother video on this. We'll throw it in real quick. But you had foot surgery, and your doctors told you you would never hike. You'd be lucky if you walked. And you didn't give up, and you did beautiful self-help, self-healing, plus what your doctors told you to do. And you hiked Bear Mountain, and you made it. You didn't, nothing held you back.
Less than a
And
year. And being up there with you and and your husband and everybody there just helped me. And it was oneness. It really was. It was, I had my challenges, but to go up there within a year after having all this titanium again put in my other foot, it's just amazing. Like my doctor was even like, you didn't do that, really? And I'm like, yes, I did. Yes, I did. Here's pictures to prove it. And thank you. I don't mean to interject, but
no, no, that's important
that,
because
that
this is,
ooh,
yeah.
divine, like you brought me up there. You did. And it was just a blessing. And to feel that energy, and for all you folks to know, like I cried for 3 days. What energies, and I learned to process a little bit more, but it was just a very healing time for me.
Mhm.
And not just physically, but spiritually, if you want to go there. But
Mhm.
oh my God. And to be with you on top of there and with everyone. And there's where I really got my divine masculine and feminine
Mhm.
knowings. And that's
Yeah.
where I'm like, wow, this is what it's
Mhm.
about.
Mhm.
And then I took it to LA, and I don't know, every space I had, and Destin was even mad. Oh my God. I
Mhm.
still have sand on the dashboard for Destin, all the sand. I love it.
So
And thank you.
so let's give them the little bit of this because I know these are key moments and they matter so much. So when we were on Bear Mountain in Sedona, first time there together, it was probably my 8th year there total, but your first time coming to the event in Sedona. So we make it up to the top of Bear Mountain. Everybody was doing personal spaces, and I was working with everybody individually. And then I came back around to you, and you were seated on the rock, and it's an incredible view in front of us, just top of the mountain, and there's really no words to adequately relay what it's like there. But uh, I knew to get behind you, and I had gotten behind. This is interesting as it's coming in. Yes, the memory. Yes, yes. Because I believe before that, and I could mix up my timeline a little bit, but maybe you remember as well. Somewhere in that same event, I got behind Kirsten, which is one of the women that was at the event as well. Powerful woman, anchor of the divine feminine. And I just realized that. So I got behind Kirsten on top of the formation next to Bell Rock, and I worked with her. And then I got behind you, and Kirsten filmed us. And so this is included here as well. But when I was behind you, the really beautiful, powerful message we're sending ourselves, because we didn't stage that, we didn't talk ahead of time, I didn't tell you what to do. You were listening to your heart. Yes. I was listening to my heart. We were completely present in the moment with our own divine flow. And I got behind you, and then I put a hand on your back. Yes. And then I lifted my other arm. Yes. And if you see the video, you see the pictures here. Gregory is lifting his hand at the same time I'm lifting mine, and in the opposite hand of what we usually relay to the masculine or the feminine in spiritual work, holistic medicine. A lot of times the left is seen as the feminine and the right is seen as the masculine. Not in all cultures, but in most. And so here in this moment together, yes, I'm lifting up my right and Gregory's lifting up the left. So for me, it was a really beautiful moment of the flip. Like we took what had been happening for the masculine and the feminine for beyond uh, words, really. Yes. And for humans, we have to say that for humans, and we flipped it. Yeah. And we reset the whole thing. Are there other people on the planet doing this? Absolutely. We are not the only ones. So, but but this is what we did. But it's important too. Go ahead.
I just want to say that energy feeling for you folks that don't know it. And when you were behind me,
Mm.
it was a just a special space for myself right then and there. And then like it wasn't like a boy girl thing. It wasn't you just there. It was energetic and it
Mm.
was powerful for me because then I started crying again. But the energy that moved in that space was so profound.
Mhm.
And I just want to say that. And I don't share that much, but that was intense. It really was
Yeah.
because to climb up there, number one, and then to be at peace and to be at balance and not even to know that you're on top of a mountain. You are just one with the divine. And then to feel you come there and just really solidify that. And that
Mhm.
showed me. And then when Maya
That's
talked,
what I was going to say.
oh
Thank
my
you.
God.
Yes,
And then
yes.
it was just balls to the wall, just masculine, feminine, peace and balance after that.
So
And it
let's
was
tell
that for the
them,
last
let
year.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So Maya, beautiful Maya. She's from Slovenia. She's a part of our Acasma family of light. She's been with us for years. She teaches in Slovenian, so that's really cool. The Acasma teachings. So, okay, now we're talking about Maya. Maya is in another country. Maya has done different events with us, but she was not at this one. She has been to Sedona before, but she wasn't at this one. And so we have this moment, we have this space on Bear Mountain, this hike, and then we close the space out, we go down the mountain, we go on our separate ways to continue the event space for 3 days we were together or whatever. But within 30 minutes or so, I get a message on my phone from Maya in Slovenia, and she's like, what did you just do? What did you just do? I know you guys just did something. She's very in tune with the divine masculine, divine feminine, and a lot of the understandings that are out there in different spiritual communities about twin flames and all these different journeys of soul connections and soul contracts and all these different ways people look at their connections with other people. So Maya has a very big understanding of this, and she registers energy very powerfully and intuitively reads it. And Maya says, what did you do? She says, I felt like the entire connection of the masculine and feminine flipped.
I know.
And I didn't even tell her anything yet. I hadn't put it on social media. I mean, we just came down the mountain. I didn't even get my Diet Coke yet and, chill out yet. So, yeah, so that was really beautiful to get that message from her. And she registered the field itself. The year before in Sedona, Maya was there and she anchored a massive shift for the divine feminine. At one point we were walking and I knew that on the path there was a portal. It's just there, period, but I registered it. And so then I knew we had to do a certain thing when we walked through that area. So I told all the people in our group, which was like 12 people or so, I said, when you get to this space, do this, think this, intend this, implement. And so we all did. And Maya really registered that space in a big way. And she really anchored it for the divine feminine, shift of the divine feminine. So it was really powerful. But yeah, Maya picking up on it when she was in another country, not even knowing we were there for sure or what was going on at the time. So that was phenomenal. Now that was Sedona. You came to LA. Yes, you did. You were on the Conscious Life Expo, Acasma Expo team. So that's pretty amazing and awesome. And we're so excited that you've agreed to come back. We'll be there in February 2026. So if you're in California or love doing those types of beautiful expo spaces, come meet us, at Conscious Life Expo. You can go to consciouslifeexpo.com. They have all their information up already for it because it'll be here before we know it, really. But all right, so you did Los Angeles in February of 2025. That was really big as well. The divine masculine rising in his authenticity. I believe you were becoming more authentic. Yes, with yourself. Yes.
Yes.
And so tell us about when you came into it, you were going to greet. And we'll just explain. We have greeters and we have facilitators. So we have people that are constantly saying, hello, how are you? This is what Acasma is, and talking to people. And then we have people that are there to facilitate the Acasma quantum energy session, which is an activation of remembrance of your I am. Yes. So you went in as a greeter, but it opened up for you, didn't it?
It very well did. And as you know, you resonate with who you resonate. And if you show that picture of my cowboy guy and Hiorter, thank you for like, for me, I'm still a very empathetic guy, and I'm shy a little bit. And to push my, I don't, I'm trying to find my actual niche, how to share my knowledge, because obviously some folks that know me, my family, my small circle, they don't get it, but they do get it. But and that's one thing I do just want to interject, that things have been going so well in that respect, like in terms of them respecting what I'm doing now, and them, my wife and daughter are more accepting of me and Acasma,
That's
and they're listening a little more, or just letting me be, instead of shunning it and saying I don't get it. And now they're really seeing that it's just a different way of looking at a balance.
mm.
And boy, when I see a change in their attitudes and their ways of how they're treating others, or myself, it's really a blessing. So to go back to oof,
LA going in as a greeter, and then where it moved
uh,
into.
it was very humbling for me to be able to share what I know and what I have, you know, my oof, my divine masculine and feminine. And that's where, you try and really, hmm, I don't want to push anything on anybody. I just want to go through what I know, but to be welcomed in by a total stranger or two or three was really welcoming. And to know that you are that bridge, and you're just there as an observer, you're just there to facilitate. And boy, that energy is amazing. And I'm looking forward to doing it more, in terms of uh, teaching myself to grow, and as well as helping others, and at the same time. And just the friends that come in and gravitate to you like that whole experience was not bizarre to me. It was bizarre to me because I never did it before. And wow, what a family. From you and your husband setting up the booth, to breaking it down, and they're just closing out some nights with some other groups of folks that are in the on the same floor as you, and we're all sharing the same knowledge, just on a different in a different frequency. It was just beautiful. Sharing what we know is a blessing to me.
You know, that was so important for the space, because I think the first year we did Conscious Life Expo, and there's nothing wrong with this, it's just balance. That's all I'm talking about here is balance. But the first year, the team was all women and my husband, because we're always a team. So he's with me on all these things. But then the next year when we went, we had two men. We had you and Yerster, right?
Yes.
So that's quite a jump from a team of, I think we had 8 women, something like that the first time, to I think 6 women and 2 men. So, but the balance coming in, you know? So I really, really love that. And I love that you and Yerster, you have very beautiful divine masculine energies, but you're like available to the divine feminine in a new way, which I think is very important. And I think that would benefit all of us to um, consider, that we be available not only to ourselves in a new way, right? Not looking at who we've been, but looking about at who we are with this very breath we're taking now, right? Doing what we uh, feel in alignment with in the now, instead of thinking we have to continue to run any type of program, cycle, belief, whatever, but also offering that new connection to every man we meet and every woman we meet. Because I don't have to look at Gregory and consider that he's going to be like every man I've ever met. I can look at Gregory, although I've met a lot of incredible men. I've been extremely happy with the men I've met in my life. But I can let Gregory be Gregory. I can meet Gregory where he's at and allow new and see where we're at in alignment together as well, because who I am affects how I register Gregory. Yes. Who
Man,
who Gregory is
I love.
affects how he registers me. Does this make sense?
Oh yeah.
See, we're always, most of the time, we can come from the space where it's about the other person has an issue or the other person is, off of balance or whatever. It starts with us. It always starts with us first, and then we can work from there. So go ahead. Did you maintain any of those moments, those aha
Oh my
moments you
God.
wanted to interject?
Okay, let's talk about ego. Is there a difference you think between a feminine ego and a masculine ego? Oh my goodness. I think there
Yes.
is
What do
huge.
you say? What do you say?
I say yes,
I
and
say yes.
that's
I
where
say
you
yes.
have to, that's where the rubber meets the road
Yes.
for your
Yes.
wholeness, and to appreciate that, or to just not respect it, or to understand it, and to be shown things. And that's where I have been shown things in the last 2 years that
Yeah.
I'm very happy about. And I think there is. And when you look at that ego trip, or just, you got to welcome your ego. Because if you don't, you're not getting taught anything. And that's where I sit here and I humble myself, and I don't get whipped back into the stable, but hey, Greg, remember, remember this. And this is what it is, where your ego is a beneficiary for you, I think. But I just wanted to ask you about that, about what your thoughts were about the feminine, masculine egos.
Yeah. Well, they would definitely be different because they're being registered in two very different templates. Yes. So the template of the masculine is completely different from the template of the feminine. And we're in these formats. These are the formats. We may have origin essence that's the same, but it doesn't matter when you put the origin essence inside of a format. It'd be like if you could look at an ice cube dish that's shaped like strawberries and an ice cube dish that's shaped like bananas. So if you freeze the water in the one dish, it's going to look like a banana. And if you freeze it in the other dish, it's going to look like a strawberry. The format is, the water's the same. Yes. But inside the formats, it's going to come in two different totally uh, variations. Does this make sense?
It does. It
Okay.
does.
Okay, so yeah, so the process of the ego is totally different for a woman and for a man, and also for individuals. Like everybody's so unique. So depending upon a lot of different factors, the ego's registered very differently. For some people, it's more intense and it's more difficult to deal with. And for some people, it's like a small little whimper in the background and they don't really hear it. So like everybody's going to pick up on it very differently. But to me, it's also like the mind. It's not in charge of you unless you give it permission to be.
Ooh, that's good.
So
Yes.
the
That's
ego is yours to be in charge of, not the other way around. Now here, let's do this real quickly though, because I really want to get this part in there. All right, so we did the Sedona, we had the divine masculine, divine feminine flip, right? Then you came to LA, and all of a sudden we have two men on the team. So that's cool because we had the flip in September in Sedona, and then February in the next year we have two men on the team. And yeah, so then we did Destin, and that was just recently, a couple months ago, and that was incredibly beautiful. We had, which they've all been beautiful. I've been doing them for years, and I have stories of masculine feminine movement for years, but this is what Gregory's been a part of. So we're talking about that. So, but my favorite, I have two favorite moments from Destin with you. Well, maybe three if I count the baptism, because that was really beautiful as well. The
different.
blessing of the waters. But I want to hear your moments too, if you have any. But for me, I said it already, so we'll do this one first. We were at the beach. There was the whole group, so like 13 people seated in the sand in a circle, tourists in the background doing what they are doing. And we were doing ceremony. Nobody was given a guideline, a bullet point of what we're going to do. Everybody was trusting, allowing, showing up, and being present. And so everybody was very different. I would go around the circle and I would talk, sing, chant, drum, do light language, whatever I felt to do with each individual. And each individual was opening up a direct portal of higher flow to flood into the now dimension existence plane. So we were like resetting realities in many different alignments because we were 13, we were representing many different realities. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
So when I got to you, I remember putting my hands in front of you, and I'm not, you like really gotta just trust yourself to work with me. I know, because I don't say like, do this, do this, do this. I remember grabbing your one hand and just putting it on top of my hand. And I started pushing my hand down. And as I was like chanting and singing and everything's happening. And then I remember you were like trying to read me and figure out, okay, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? And you were staying with me. And I remember saying, put your hand on my hand, and your other hand. And so then I told you to push my hands into the sand as hard as you could, basically. But it was an anchoring that was going on in connection with the energies of the earth for the divine masculine and the divine feminine, hand through hand, physical format, cellular structure, DNA, programmed water, merging, anchoring. And it was rippling outward in that moment. Through generation upon generation upon generation upon generation outward through humanity, through the what we call the past. And that was fully connected to the flip in Sedona. But we've never even talked about this, have we? We've not gone like deep into this. Little bits, but not
But
deep.
that is oneness to me because you can relate those two spaces together perfectly.
Mhm.
And I was surprised when you did that to me because I never witnessed, you forcefully telling me to do something, and it just came natural, and it was
It
just
was
it was.
so natural. I love that word. That's the perfect word. It felt so natural for me to pick your hand up and say it. And I'm glad it felt natural to you
Yes,
to just
it was
do
the right
it.
thing to do. It was just what the universe wanted us to do right then.
Yes. Perfect word, natural. Perfect word. Now there is another part of this that's really interesting to me. We haven't talked in deep. I think we came to a group meeting together and we talked a little bit, but we haven't had. I don't think a one-on-one where we've talked about this. But there's another part about the Destin trip. Yes. I think it was before that ceremony because the ceremony was the closing. So it was before this. It was maybe the day before or something like that. We were in the vacation condo that I had, and I was doing classes and activations. And so I was going around the room and I was kind of doing something with each person. Most of the time it was like energetic above the crown, working with the field. And when I got to you, you were seated on the ground. I think you were sitting on the floor. Yes. And I got down in front of you and I think you had your hands together, and I grabbed your hands and I just held your hands and we rocked. And yes, I heard in my voice and in my being the Lord's Prayer. And so I just spoke the Lord's Prayer. And I felt like again, a merging of the feminine and the masculine in that moment. And again, the ripples, but they were moving through dogma, theology, religious separations, and such. The spaces of, yes, spiritual teachings and religions, because there can all be, it's all in there, that through the history of humanity have in many ways tried to assist humanity to be better, but in many ways have caused more division and war and separation. But in that moment, we were like, yes, acknowledging the purity before it was distorted. Yes. Does this make sense to you?
Comes together. Yes. Yes.
So, and everybody was very unique. Every person I worked with was unique. That didn't happen with anybody else. So your energy in this now lifetime as Gregory is available to anchor, and I believe Andrea's mine is as well. We're available to anchor these shifts for the history of humanity that's been uh yes, distorted in a sense. Okay. Do you have any other spaces of any of these events that you wanted to talk about or bring in? Or are those your spaces too? What are you feeling?
I'm feeling I love just what you shared yesterday of your light beings. That was just beautiful.
Oh,
Give
yes.
that a plug. Make sure if you guys haven't seen it yet, oh my God, that was just beautiful. It
That,
took me right back to right where I found you. And it's
oh,
all, but oh my goodness, that energy that you shared. Thank you. And I hope everybody goes and sees that. Like
oh my
it's,
goodness. Thank you. So that's the video I just shared yesterday. It's titled Are Angels Real?
yes.
Are Light Beings Real? I say yes, I have proof. So that video blew me away. I've been making those videos for a long time, many, many, many years. And I watched it back before I began putting it together to put on YouTube. And I just sat on my couch with my hand on my heart as I'm watching it. And I just kept saying, I love you. I love you. Thank you for being here. I love you. And it's so incredibly expansive, vast, and beautiful to begin to open up more and more to the reality, the realness of this interconnectiveness. It's always, always, always here. They're always here. We're always there. It's always, I know that even with everything I see, feel, experience, work with people, and have happened, that I, have so much proof in a sense. I have so many reasons to have my faith. I mean, even so, I'm mind blown. I'm awestruck so many times by just leaning in with that availability of it is a reality. It is the reality. It is in no way not true. Does this make sense?
You know what, Antival? There's you when that hits you or me, like I think there's no more tug of war
Yeah.
with what you're questioning. And when you're at peace and you have that peace and balance, um, wow, does it make a difference in your actions throughout your day
Yeah.
and how you interact with people and you're welcomed. That's where I'm
Mm.
gonna go back to affirmations, but like I think they work, and this physical
They
body
do work.
really
They
pisses
work
me
whether
off.
you, yeah, yeah.
Your mind's fun, it plays tricks on
Well,
us. But
the mind is actually the mechanism of, yes, the activation of the reality lines you experience. Your mind is the mechanism that activates the reality lines you experience. So if the mind is affirming anything, and it's always affirming something, it can be affirming I'm worried, it can be affirming I'm safe, it can be affirming I'm surrounded by love, it can be affirming I'm always alone. I mean, we're affirming, we're always affirming, we're always running an affirmation. But to realize that there's a power in that affirmation, there's a power in it, no matter if it's a what we would call a negative affirmation or a positive affirmation. It's affirming it, it's aligning it, it's designing it, it's setting up the connection of that point unfolding. Yeah. So Yeah, they're super important. One of my favorite ones, I just mentioned it on my new podcast. If you're not already over there, go over there and check it out. But the AL Garris space, podcast only. This channel, we do it all. the other, the original AL channel does it all. Light beings, energy sessions, classes. But the podcast is just talk, the podcasty things. Okay, so I was just talking on there though about one of my favorite affirmations because I was like the queen of affirmations when I
Totally.
decided to shift my world, which was 2006. I decided to shift my world, revamp me, totally rewrite the whole story. And so I have several favorites, but one of my favorites is everything I want
Here we go. Everything I want.
and everything I need
And
flows easily into my life.
yes,
And I started saying that when I didn't feel like that was true. You know, when I felt like life was heavy and life was hard and life was exhausting and I was somehow broken in some ways. So that's when I started saying that. And so at some points, my body and my brain and my being would kind of fight and they would say, "Oh, you're such a liar. Like you're just pretending, you know?" And then another part of me would say, "You're powerful. Be mindful. Allow yourself this power. Wield it well." And I just kept stepping in to that belief. I kept stepping in and showing up at my life. And even when life would be chaotically falling apart or acting weird or whatever, and I would be over there saying, everything I want and everything I need flows easily into my life. And I would feel it best I could. Some days were way easier to feel it. Some days I was fighting to get that feeling in because everything else was, you know, the feelings of chaos were coming up. But I was like, nope, nope, that's not a timeline I align with, which is another good affirmation. That's a
yes.
timeline I don't align with. And then redirecting myself to feel, think, say, act as if everything I want and everything I need flows into my life. Now, it's very important to remember those factors because as creator beings, if you think it, that's awesome. That's the step one. And then you feel that thought. You feel, what does it feel like? Honestly, right now, if you're listening, Gregory, you,
I'll
what
feel it.
does that feel like? Everything you want and everything you need flowing easily into your life. What would that feel like to you?
Feels good.
Oh, amazing, right? Exhilarating. You'd be ecstatic. You'd feel
Be
peaceful.
there.
You'd feel like you're safe, like you're loved, like you're fully supported, right?
Yes.
So, like thinking it and then feeling that that amplifies the thought that's going out to the system. That amplifies the connection point. And so you've got the thinking going on, you've got the feeling going on, and then you start saying it. Well, it's not just about saying the actual affirmation. That's important. But it's also about when somebody says to you, "How you doing?" You don't say, "Well, you know, it is what it is." Because that does not sound like someone who is everything I need and everything I want flows easily into my life. So that doesn't match. So then the system goes glitch, 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 connection lost.
Hey, yes. That's so funny. You're so true.
So it all
That's so
lines up. So it's important. Own your mastery. It's a mastery of the mind. It's a mastery of the mouth and the way it speaks. It's the mastery of the body and the posture. I mean, I'm mindful. Like if I'm sitting here having this conversation with you and I look at my body posture, looking back at myself, and I'm like, you know what? I look a little bit, you know, wah, wah.
Mhm.
I put my knee up and I'm like, well, this is a much powerful, this is more powerful. This is more, oh yeah, I feel like this is a woman that says everything I want and everything I need flows easily into my life, right? Look at this, right?
That's great. There you
But it
go.
all matters. It's all energy. So, like, be mindful and be the master. Be responsible for your energy because you're running the energy and you're directing the flow no matter what, you know? So, use it wisely. It all aligns. Think about how you talk about yourself. Think about how you, that personality traits, the persona that you bring forth. Does it align with everything I want and everything I need flows easily into my life? Or does it align with I'm broke and I'm pissed and I'm whatever?
Can I say, like, when you go into a situation or just your day, if you even get that one little thought of something can go wrong, it starts a little spiral, and that ain't good. It's
Mhm.
because there's no reason to believe that. Like
Right.
we're children of the light.
Most,
We have
right.
no reason to believe
And
that anything is going to go wrong for us.
even if you have a reflection coming in, an experience like a space with someone or something, and it's giving you a reason to feel like things aren't perfect or things are out of control or things are whatever, even if that's happening, you still are, I am still, we are still so powerful that if we will acknowledge what we see, be aware, observe, understand, okay, reality right now is this. I see it. I'm not oblivious. I'm not an idiot. I don't have my head in the sand. I see, I hear, I understand. But I also know that the way I respond to this will direct how I experience it. So there's where the mastery starts to really open up, and you get to uh, be more proactive in how that reality continues to unfold. So even if it, comes in not so much like you planned, it's always, I just did a podcast on this as well. It's always a message you'd benefit from receiving. Every experience, there's something in there you're asking yourself to see. If we see the message, get the message, understand the message, even if we only get it in an incremental point, it's not going to come at us so big the next time because it knows we're listening. The system is all us. The system is you. The system is me. And we're just working in tandem with ourselves to continue to expand, to continue to understand, to continue to explore and grow. And so the experiences all have messages. And even mine, when I was in 2006 realizing I needed affirmations because I was affirming I needed to understand affirmations and shift them because I was affirming all of the things I didn't want. I was constantly speaking on, claiming to be, telling the story of lack, being broke, being exhausted, whatever, hating my job. That was my affirmation. That was coming out my mouth. I may have not had it on a post-it, but was sure on my tongue. So then I learned the power of my words, the power of my thoughts, the power of my feelings. And it doesn't mean we're ignoring reality. It means we're realizing the power we hold in what we do with what we're experiencing and how we direct it and shift it and alchemize it as we move forward. Does this make sense?
I love the word alchemy. I really do. If you don't know what that means, go look it up, people, and experience it because I think, you got me thinking always, but we do, like, we have the choice to shift our consciousness like that. And if we find ourselves thinking wrong, like I've been at night, you know, I should have did this different 10 years ago. What if I did this 20 years ago differently? And I'm thinking, and I'm like, where is all this coming from? And I don't want to live there anymore. I really don't. And I don't know where this is coming from, but
Well, they're programs as well, Gregory. So they're implemented by culture, by society. And I talked about this the other day on YouTube on the Sleep Better video. So many people waking up in the middle of the night and all they can do is dread either where they are or where they've been and worry about where they're going. And they get overthinking about everything. I just did a video on this. So the program through media, television, like let's all be honest. Most television shows, they're all about drama. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, my mom loved soap operas. I don't know, I think there's maybe two on yet today, right? But it used to be at 12:30, like you could turn it on and they didn't stop till 4, like they were back to back to back to back. I don't know, maybe they still are, but Yeah, I was raised on Young and the Restless, which I do, it's still going, I think. Young and the Restless, As the World Turns, Bold and the Beautiful, and Guiding Light. Like that was every day, like the whole afternoon was that. But what is that? What is that? I mean, like, I'm not knocking them. They're fun, they're interesting, they're entertaining, but they also are a programmed structure of drama, drama, cheating and, betrayal and, all these things. I get it. Maybe it's boring to see happiness all the time. I don't know. I don't think it would be, but all these shows, then you got these, what are they called? I don't even watch them, but I think they're like reality shows. So like the guy dates a bunch of girls and picks one, and then the woman, I don't know. And then they all live in a house together, and everybody's liking everybody, and but
Oh, fuck that.
it's
Oh,
just so much. um it's just sad in a sense, but it's okay. It's the prod forward for those who are picking up on the spaces and moving and choosing differently. But it's catering to the lowest vibrational states of humans. It's catering to the lowest vibrational processes of humans, and it's allowing this stagnant, cycled, lower vibe behavior that breeds, hear this please, it breeds and multiplies and expands fear. It's not steeped in love at all. It's not steeped in divinity at all. So it breeds fear. And what does fear do? Fear weakens, and fear creates spaces that can be more controllable. Yes. So if you have a massive group of people and you want to begin to kind of get them to do certain things, yes, then you need
she
to keep them in a state of mind in which they will be more apt to do so. And so people who are afraid are a lot more apt to be controlled than people who are walking around in peace and balance. So that's like a whole nother video, but it does come in here and it's important to make note of it. So when you're waking up, Gregory, and you're thinking, I wished I would have done this differently 10 years ago and this differently 20 years ago, there's a couple things happening. One, it's a straight out program of fear that's running through the collective vibe constantly. And we have to remember to say, I am safe. That's why that's one of the main core things we say in Acasma. And in 2020, that came in that I needed to teach people this. And wow, what a year for that to come in, because we were being told we weren't safe. And every time you turned around, you better do something else because you are not safe. And so that that program of fear is running. It we are leaving it. Many have already left it. It just doesn't even, it can ping every now and then, a little echo from the background, but there's no anchor for it anymore. There's no connection point for it anymore in many people's lives because they've anchored into the truth of their essence and origin, and they're running from that vibratory state of understanding of themselves that they are actually safe. They are actually safe. They are loved. They are surrounded by love. And that this is one space of experience they happen to be having in a now, but they're eternal. You start opening up the being to these spaces of the self. And then all of these lower, very carnal based, very separated self based spaces, they just start to become like smaller and smaller and weaker and weaker. So when you have that moment with the worry, part of it's the programming, just you can even see it. That helped me a lot. So when I would wake up and I would have a thought like that, or you just get a feeling sometimes too. You don't even have to have thoughts. Sometimes you just wake up and go, oh, I feel like something bad could happen or something. So you can just know that's like a wave. You're sitting on the beach and a wave comes in and it's got more seaweed in it. And then the waves go out and the waves come back and there's no seaweed because it just happened to move along, right? So when you're laying in bed and I'm laying in bed, we're all having our regular nights. There's waves of energy coming in. And sometimes they got some fierce seaweed floating around. And then they float by. And then there's no big wave of fear there because it's just ebbing and flowing and we're registering. So you can just tell yourself, nope, not picking up the seaweed tonight. Just keep on flowing, fear. And just, I'm safe. I'm loved. Everything's good. Now, also, though, you're talking about past spaces. Yes. Go ahead.
Jumping timelines, baby. Let's jump timelines then, right?
Yes.
Can we do that? And then if you put yourself in that as if,
Yes.
and because I'm like, if I did this differently, or I don't like to think like that. I get that. Why did I do that like that? Why did I treat this person like this? Or why did I do this policy procedure or whatever at work? And I'm like, why am I thinking about this now? Because I don't want to dwell on my past, and I want to launch past that. So how do we take that as if moment and just, can we jump that timeline? And I
Well,
think
the minute you think about it, you're actually giving yourself the opportunity to reset it because that's absolutely doable. Anything that's reset then would affect timelines, absolutely. So, and this is the expansion of consciousness landing. So this is why you're doing it because there's so many things. But part of it is you're expanding your own consciousness because to entertain it, to consider it, to think about it, to ponder, wait a minute, if I, why did I do that? Well, what if I reset it? What if I visually go back in and sense the space and I play it out differently in my mind? The field doesn't know you're in your head, it just knows the energy's different and it registers it. And that's how you end up in a different alignment.
is that a walk back?
Yes,
Thank you.
you've been paying attention.
I love you. I love you guys. Oh my God. What a great day.
I think it's just, it's so incredible to have a community as well, which is one of the
Oh my
things I
goodness.
really love about this space is to have a community of people that are coming in with resonance or understanding that connects on a topic and on topics that have to do with this, which is the expanding of consciousness, the rise of the human, back into its origin. This is not like a new thing. Yes, we hear a lot new earth, right? New human. But in essence, what we're doing is we're reconnecting into what we've always been, but has been distorted along the way. And there's so much coming forth that is confirming in the most beautiful ways uh, the rise of our true history, which is, I think we're going to be looking at that a lot over the next few years, where we're going to be seeing more and more coming out about who humans really are and what happened here on Earth. And so, like, but that's like a whole nother thing in itself. But this is all part of what's happening as we're engaging the divine masculine, the divine feminine, allowing divine union. We're meeting each other right where we're at from this level of ourselves that's open to and available to our vastness. So as Gregory and Andrea interact, the vastness of the divine in connection with origin essence is interacting with itself through human vessels representing divine masculine and divine feminine. Yes. So there's so many layers here, but it's all incredibly beautiful. I love all of it. I love all of it. So, all right, what else, Gregory? Anything else? We've been on here for a little while. We've got to
Oh
go
my
in a few
God.
minutes, but this has
No,
been amazing. What a wonderful conversation. Is there anything else you want to share before we close it out?
no, we talked about everything and everything. No, there's so much. I just want to say how much our pods are special. And just get in there if you haven't been there, because I've gotten to know so many more people, and it's nice to share. You sometimes you can't keep up with 24/7,
Yeah.
but oh my God, whenever you go out there and you're welcomed, and you get to share, you get to respond, you get to throw an emoji here and there, but just being present.
Yes.
And it really is a beautiful community. Please,
So,
people, get out there and get on
yeah.
Patreon. Really, I don't know why people don't do it. Get on for free, and you got great content on there. Oh my goodness.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love that you brought it in. So, Gregory's talking about the Acasma pods of light. We have an Acasma grid of light. So, we started in 2020. The last Saturday of every month, we meet on Zoom. The last Saturday of every month, we meet on Zoom at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We haven't missed a one since 2020, and they're fantastic. I offer them for free to all who feel aligned to be this space, which is anchoring this divine us in this now, and assisting the collective as well. It's inevitable, but it's always for the self first and then out from there. So we have that, the Acasma Planet of Light and Healing Grid, and then we created these community space centers, if you will, to support the grid members. So if you're in the Acasma Planet of Light and Healing Grid, then we have these beautiful community spaces we call pods of light, Acasma pods of light, and Gregory's in one of those pods. So we have two pods right now with two incredible leaders. They are women who came into this space like Gregory, just felt resonance, just felt connected with me, with the teachings, with the understandings, and then they wanted to learn it. And so I taught them everything that I teach everybody who wants to learn. And these two women then decided to be leaders. And we need leaders because this is a massive space and it's growing very rapidly, and we're international. The teachings are available in 7 different languages right now. And so it's incredibly beautiful and big. And the pods of light, they are on Discord. So that's a fantastic server that's very user friendly, and you can be as interactive as you choose to be, but it's like a chat room. So you come in when you want, you see what's going on, you read what's going on, and you share if you want, or you just, be present, like Gregory said. The leaders share teachings of Acosma, teachings of these beautiful spaces of our higher consciousness, and they field questions here and there. But it's a fantastic space to implement your affirmations. Yes. So really think about that, because everything you talk about, everything you choose to bring focus to through your conversations with a stranger, a friend, a family member, yourself, you are amplifying those alignments. So this is a fantastic space to come in and choose to share what's
Wow.
going right in your life, even if it's the fact that you found a community that aligns with you. But you'll notice in the chat, and Gregory's and Beacons of Love, they share a lot of pictures of, like, they see things in nature, they see things in the city, they see things in the house. They're like, oh, look at this flower, look at this cat, look at this, But it's so lovely because everybody's always bringing it back around to a connection of a message, a connection of an understanding that's coming in from universe, from source, from God, from the angels, from the teams of light to us, to assist and guide and uplift. And we're all getting messages all the time, but we don't really pay attention very much because we're too busy looking at all the other things we've been trained to look at, right? That keep our eye off of the ball that we're really ready to hit. But anyways, this is a special space, and Gregory brought it in very nicely. Gregory's the ambassador of light for the pod as well. And we have the Sacred Joy pod, which is run by Kirsten. The Beacons of Love is ran by Janet Kate, Quantum Kate. These leaders are phenomenal. I love these women. I'm grateful for them. We have Barbie. She's also an ambassador of light as well. So we're very grateful for these people who have stepped up and said, let me contribute. And they all do it of the goodness of their heart, and just share their time with this community. So it's a Cosmo family of light. It's beautiful. And many of you have already reached out, and you've been asking about the Conscious Life Expo coming up in February 2026. So we already have people getting ready to meet us there, Gregory, and they're excited, and we're excited as well. So this is going to be an incredible space. All of our spaces are. I always love to say this line. For anybody who knows this movie, you're going to get it right away, but I mean it from my heart with everything in me, that if I forget to tell you that I had an incredible life walking with you, just going to tell you right now, thank you. I did. And that's like a little cap on Pretty Woman when Julia Roberts says to Richard Gere before they go out for the evening, if I forget to tell you, I had a wonderful time tonight. And that's my attitude. That's my take on it. That's my connection point.
Always.
So I'm so grateful, Gregory.
You always are. You're pre-grateful. So yeah, yeah.
I'm
We're
pretty
already
grateful.
pre-happy.
You're
We're
right.
pre-grateful. We're pre-freaking cool. We're pre-everything. And we're pre-ascended. Like we already are home. We are home, and I love it. And I thank you for having me. Thank
Oh,
you
this
very
was
much.
wonderful. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who joined us. We've had such a fun time talking, hanging out, and being in this space with you. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please share them with us below the video. There's some links to some spaces you might enjoy joining us in. Leave us a comment, give us a thumbs up. If you don't already subscribe, consider doing so. We're grateful to be this space with you. We are light, and we are here. Thank you, Gregory.
You, Antambulu.